Welcome back to The Closing Argument. I'm Lisa Marchese, and I am so glad you're with us because we are about to take on a subject that is incredibly timely and incredibly important, especially to business leaders and professionals working in the global marketplace. For those who interact with people from different cultures as part of their work, or for those who simply want to deepen their cross-cultural awareness, our podcast series is especially for you. During this series, we will show you how to build better bridges that will lead to a deeper and more effective cultural awareness. With true cultural intelligence, you'll see that we can become better, more effective communicators and great business leaders. But to properly introduce this subject, I need a little help from someone, and not just anyone. Someone in particular, someone famous like a 20th century French novelist, diarist, activist, someone who led a pretty unique and colorful life. If you guessed it, yes, you're right. I am talking about Anass Nin, because her life, her work, and her legacy give us a perfect reference point from which to launch this important discussion. In a moment, I'm going to share with you something powerful and ominous that she once said. But first, let me give you some relevant context about her life. Anass Nin lived from 1903 until 1977, a time in the world that was culturally restrictive in many ways, especially toward women. And that probably explains why she was also an outspoken feminist who championed women's rights throughout her life and throughout her career. But Nin was far more than an activist. She was also a gifted and prolific writer who was known in particular for her powerful insights and her abilities of perception. And in some of her very best work, in some of her very best insight and perception, she once wrote, and I quote, "We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are." And those words capture the essence of our podcast series, the essence of our topic, which is cultural intelligence. And those words are as true today as they were the day that Nin wrote them. The truth is, we don't see the world as it really is. We see it as we really are. We see it from the lenses of our own life experiences, from our perspectives, from our cultural norms, and with the judgments of our own values and our own expectations. And this way of looking at the world is problematic, to say the least. This myopic worldview often manifests itself when it comes to working across cultures and geographical boundaries in the global marketplace. It impacts everything from our communication to how we form business relationships. And COVID-19 has only made this dynamic much, much worse. The pandemic has isolated us from each other, and in many ways, it's left us far more divided. It's affected many, many aspects of both our working and our personal lives. It's true that even here in Europe, I say this even here in Europe, that the glass is starting to look more and more half full these days. We can finally see flickers of light at the end of this COVID-19 tunnel we've all been traveling through. There are certainly reasons to be hopeful that the worst is over and the end may be near. However, as countries reopen borders, as companies seek to re-engage in the global marketplace, new and more difficult challenges await us all. And that's because the world has changed. The world is different. And so too is the global marketplace, because it has changed. And because of that, we must change. That's the bigger concern, because we need better strategies for how we interact, how we do business with one another. The truth is also this: we don't have to see the world or the global marketplace as we are. We have the ability to broaden our point of view and change our perspective for the better, to see things as they are. Let me tell you just a little bit more about the format of what we've prepared for you. In this part one, we're going to take a deeper dive into the core issues and challenges that we face when it comes to cultural intelligence. In parts 2 and 3, we're going to bring theory into practice, because the subject of cultural intelligence is complex and multifaceted. So much so that we strongly believe that dialogue, the sharing of experiences and different viewpoints, is essential to a critical examination of this topic. At Empower, Raj and I have taken a particular interest in cultural intelligence. The more we've worked with Italian and European business professionals, the more we have seen the cultural gap of understanding grow, particularly when it comes to interactions with their American counterparts. Our experiences have inspired us to do research, to write, and to collaborate with our own American counterparts who are doing similar consulting work. Late last year, we launched an important discussion on cultural intelligence in an article we wrote with our American colleague, Lee Keller. It was published in the Puget Sound Business Journal. But the world and the global marketplace have continued to evolve since our article was published. And so too have the challenges we face in building those bridges that will lead to a better cultural intelligence. And for those reasons, in part 2, Raj and I want to continue that important dialogue with all of you. We're going to take on hard topics with candor. We'll share with you our experiences, and we'll offer some recommended best practices. But we also have another important conversation that we're going to bring you in part 3. You're going to hear directly from Italian and American business professionals who work across cultures. They'll talk about the challenges they encounter. They will talk about what they really want to know about each other, what they wish their counterparts would know about them. They'll talk about the opportunities that they see in the global marketplace as we all emerge from the throes of this pandemic. And they'll share with you their thoughts and strategies for how they intend to build better bridges across business cultures. So, let's start building.